Morning for Friday, October 16th. There's a good chance that if you're watching this video, you found your way here or to our website through Twitter. I'm going to ask you today, true or false? Life would be a lot easier if we didn't have Twitter. Now, the reason I'm asking that is because last night, Thursday night, Twitter was down for a good bit. I don't know, maybe a couple hours or so. It was real weird because you try to scroll through your thing on your feed and there was nothing there. You couldn't post any tweets. And it got me thinking, what if life was back to this like it used to be 10 years ago or whatever before we all had Twitter? Now, I need Twitter for my job. Like I said, it's how we post news stories. It's how we get people to this website. A lot of you may need Twitter either for your job or for your own personal life situation. You need to stay informed or what have you. But I will say this. I truly wish we could go back to a world where we didn't have Twitter. And I'll get to exactly why in just a second. Now, tomorrow's my birthday. I turn 47 years old tomorrow. So to some people, maybe to a lot of people, I'm an old fogey at 47. I don't feel old. I still play a lot of sports. I'm still pretty active and everything. I don't feel old. But in a lot of ways, I am old. I'm set in my ways. I still listen to Journey and all my 80s music. You really can't get me to listen to anything else other than 80s music. And I got all these 80s reference. I'm kind of an old man. However, because of my job, I've had to stay hip and with it and be able to use all this newfangled technology and everything. And Twitter is a big part of that. I can't do my job without Twitter. I need to stay up to speed on what's going on with Penn State, the Pirates, things that I cover. I wish it wasn't that way, though. I honestly wish that it was not that way, because what happens is we find ourselves addicted to this freaking thing, and you see people on their phone just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and all day long. I mean, you just see it all the time. I follow 38 people on Twitter. 38! And I still check mine every 10, 15 minutes, and I'm still scrolling and scrolling. Some of you people follow like 1,000, 2,000, 4,000. How in the world do you do this? If you follow 1,000 people on Twitter, are you just scrolling literally nonstop to see this stuff? All right, so to me, the big problem with Twitter is it brings out the worst in people. It brings out the worst in our society. I'm not talking about political stuff or election stuff, although it's certainly really, really bad right now. But it just brings out vile, terrible things from a lot of people. So I wish I could just, see the tweets for the news and information that I want. But inevitably, if you're on Twitter for any amount of time, you're going to see tons and tons and tons of just vile garbage that makes you think, wow, is there any hope for our society? I was going to include Facebook in this post, but I'm not going to do that. That's a separate entity. We could maybe do without Facebook in a lot of aspects of our lives. But Facebook to me is really more of a personal thing. I live far away from my extended family. You can put pictures and keep in touch with people that way. So I think Facebook does serve a lot of valuable purposes, and Twitter serves a lot of valuable purposes. However, when I ask you true or false, life would be a lot easier if we didn't have Twitter, or a lot simpler, rather, if we didn't have Twitter, my answer is yes. I think that life would be a lot better, a lot easier if we didn't have this and we could get back to actually communicating with people in a more civilized manner. Have a good day, folks.